grown men were sobbing during Deadpool and Wolverine camera tests. This is where the yellow suit, the classic Wolverine. How did it take 20 plus years to get him in the suit and make it practical and make it look? I don't think anyone has argued that the suit looks bad.
Nope.
No one.
Yeah. It took Ryan Reynolds to do it. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it looks good. So if you could read a little of this story, Alan, we'll comment on it.
Sure. Deadpool and Wolverine executive producer Wendy Jacobson recently told Hey You Guys on IGN that adult men were sobbing during Hugh Jackman's camera test, which marked the first time the beloved X-Men actor wore Wolverine's iconic yellow and blue superhero suit from the comics. The suit alone has generated significant buzz for the upcoming Marvel tentpole, as Jackson never wore the comic accurate costume during the previous 17-year stint as Wolverine. It was one of the craziest things, Jacobson said. It was the camera test. It was before we started shooting. To see both those guys, first of all, in costume together was mind-blowing. But Hugh walking out in the yellow and blue, I mean, they were grown men, like sobbing on set. So we knew it was special, very special thing.
Yeah, it's really weird. I actually think when it comes to adaptations of comics, you should
adapt the comic.
Well, comic book characters,
Yeah.
right? I think the costumes should be accurate. There's a reason they've lasted for decades in people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can make alterations. I like Captain America's costume because they created a reason that he wore this ridiculous outfit by making part of a Broadway show, to raise, war bonds. And then they made it practical so it could be used in the field. Like, it's smart. It's so smart. Like, I just believe that. And you should never gender or race swap characters because it doesn't work. This idea that there'll be a female Silver Surfer makes no sense to me. No sense.
Yeah. Well, it's Hollywood continually thinking they know better. I mean, look, these franchises were popular for a reason. Wolverine's suit here was popular for a reason. And for Hollywood to have the arrogance to say, no, we could do better than what fans, thought about these things. And then they go and change it. They gender swap. They think they can, they're being more progressive. But the key was always there. It was always in those comic books. They were storyboarded for you in these comic books. The stories are there. You don't need to change the stories. And this just proves that people want what when people want to see movie adaptations of the things they love, they want to actually see an adaptation of the thing they loved. And this is just proof of that.
Yeah, I just think, why not? Because first of all, I've been collecting comics since I was like a single digit age. Like, I remember being 5 years old and watching the Batman movie, 66, the Batman movie with Adam West, on my 5th birthday, buying a Batman comic, having a Batman hat and a t-shirt. I was a Batman fanatic. I had that Corgi die-cast metal Batmobile of the 66 Batmobile. Look, there's no reason why these things cannot be comic book accurate, but yes, altered for real world.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks practical, not ridiculous, like just spandex, right? But real world, and it makes sense. So it doesn't surprise me. Look, I'll tell you this, and when Marvel was at its height, right?
Mm-hmm.
Getting into, phase 1, phase 2, the climax of phase 3, every time that Marvel logo came up, the older one that flipped through actual images of the comics with Jack Kirby, I got chills and I would get choked up, because never in my mind's eye did I imagine I would see these characters I have loved for decades ingrained in my mind as a kid working a paper route at 9 years old. So I had money to go to the drugstore and pick comics off the spinning rack. I'm sitting here as an adult. Yeah, I'm an old dude looking at that logo, flipping through comic book images, thinking I now get to see these characters on the screen. When I read the 3-issue arc of the Fantastic Four with Galactus coming to Earth, the first appearance of Galactus, the Silver Surfer, I read those 3 comics so many times. It was like, I thought I'm never going to see a movie or read a book that's as epic or big as this story is, because you see the visuals, but you're creating the voices in your mind. There's music in your head. It's amazing. When you've read a great comic, it changes you. It's moving. So these things are important. So,
well, here's the most controversial thing I'll say today. The best Superman movie was the Richard Donner Superman movie.
Yes,
because
not controversial at all.
But the main reason is because that's Superman.
Yes,
everything that happens in the movie is everything you imagined that a Superman movie would be after reading those comic books.
For sure.
And Christopher Reeves looked like Superman. He flew like Superman. Lex Luthor was evil. Gene Hackman was perfect. It was stupid for him to be able to turn back time, but that was a Superman movie, and that's why it will always be the best Superman movie, because that's Superman. That's Superman on the screen, not like Man of Steel, who wasn't Superman.
I still get chills when I hear that music.
Mm-hmm.
Still get chills. It's